time for our Rome mayoral debate with 3 of the 4 candidates joining us in studio today. And I guess Jackie Izzo was not able to come, but we have Lou, Mike, and Joe. And welcome, guys. Thanks for joining us today on the show.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so let's just dig right in and get started. And we'll start with the incumbent, Mr. Fusco, if you want to just make a quick opening statement, and then we'll get started with the debate.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. 4 years ago, I said, put together a plan that said, look, we have to rebuild our population, our infrastructure, we've got to rebuild our tax base, and we've got to do things that will make our workforce more efficient and more cost effective. And we've hit on every single one of those. We've got new businesses coming into the area. We've got new housing construction, the type of which Rome has not seen in 30 years. We've got developers that are investing. We've got MVCC investing over $30 million in their campus. We have several construction projects underway. We've got, quite honestly, as far as the workforce development, we've got a workforce that is just absolutely humming at this point. We're doing all kinds of work that we never did before. We're saving the taxpayers money. We're making the city far more appealing and safer. And we're doing everything we said we were going to do 4 years ago.
All right, the incumbent Joe Fusco. Michael Brown, one of the mayoral candidates in the race. Michael, go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Sometimes I think I live in a different city than Joe.
I think you do.
But that's different strokes for different folks. I don't see the necessarily the positive things that are happening in Rome and Joe's world. I don't see the job creation. I don't see a city that is welcoming to new businesses. I don't see a beautiful city. I see a city that looks tired. I see a lot of blight, a lot of urban blight. I don't see the possibilities with the way things are going of attracting the new residents that we need in order to build our tax base. What I do see is a population that is eager to see something different. I see a population that is eager to build on the wonderful things that are Rome. I see a population that wants to hope that tomorrow can be a better day and the next 4 years could actually drive us forward instead of through stagnation.
All right. Thank you, Mike. And Lou Daniello, welcome again to the show. Lou, how are you?
Thank you, Dave. Doing well, thank you.
Go ahead. You got a minute to start, and then we'll start getting into the questions.
I sure do have a minute. You know, I'll tell you what, Dave. Rome has been, it's a mother to me. I've loved my 56 years of living there. I have seen many, many changes throughout my lifetime in Rome. I see a city that has so much potential. But I also see a population that feels disconnected. I see a population that feels like they have not been included in the plans, not been included in the process, and not been included in the fixing of Rome. Now, you might say, well, that's kind of on them. That's kind of on them. They didn't. No, it's kind of on us. We need to be able to open up to allow folks with good, solid ideas to come forward and have those ideas put in motion. Now, that being said, where do we start? Well, we start with plans. We start with good, solid plans that aren't just, you know, there's a lot of things out there that are just nice to think about. But the bottom line is you have to be realistic in whatever you do. You know, we stand on the precipice now of a brand new era for Rome and the region. Theoretically, it's regional. Realistically, we're talking about just the things that are going to happen at the Nano Center. What can we do in Rome? Well, we can open up and open our doors and show people that we are open for business. By open for business means streamlining and moving forward with inviting people to come and see what we have to offer and making things happen.
All right, Lou, we'll start with you with the first question since you went third in the opening statements. Lou Daniello wearing, by the way, a blue golf shirt today. We'll kind of paint the picture for those at home, and we'll throw you the first question, then let the other guys respond to that. Sure. Local newspapers reporting that one of the top concerns in Rome is the property tax burden. What will you do about that?
Well, property taxes are always the top of any campaign, no matter what it is, relative to either mayor, common council, whatever. You know, our Rome happens to be very unique in that it is 76 square miles. In that 76 square miles, over 50% of it's tax exempt, be it by some by religious organizations, state or local entities, federal properties, and all that, do not pay taxes. So the brunt of the burden of taxes is on the individual homeowners that do not fall into that. What I would say, we have so many properties that are eligible and available. We need to market that, and I don't believe that the city is in the real estate business. Never should have been. However, getting all the players on the table together, get the real estate people, get the financiers, get those construction people that can help us rehabilitate some of those properties and make them ready for those folks to get. I'm not sure why he's raising his hand.
Well, he's just trying to keep us on track. Jay is our timekeeper today.
I thought he wanted to ask a question. I'm not sure. So keeping that all in mind, we need to move forward with a good, solid plan that involves all the key players.
All right. Thank you for that, Lou. Now to Mayor Fusco himself, wearing a light blue shirt and one of his signature ties. You have the greatest ties I've ever seen. What do you got there quickly? Comets, a little hockey-themed tie there today. What about the taxes, Joe?
Well, my first year in office, we sat down with developers trying to encourage them to build new housing in Rome, because that is the problem we have. There's only two ways we can address the tax burden, and that's increasing revenues and decreasing costs. We have done a tremendous job of decreasing costs. I've saved millions of dollars over the last 3.5 years, and it's all factual. That's all you got to just talk to the treasurer, and he'll explain it to you. But beyond that, we have gone forward with a housing study, first time anybody's ever invested in one, and we brought that information back to the table with developers, and with that, we also brought all the people in the community invited them to a housing summit, which allowed them to speak with everything Lou said. We've already done that. We brought them together with developers, real estate people, and basically just investors as a whole. What came out of that was the Merrick Road development, up and running, bringing new people into the area. People who live in the area are also renting them. They've got more building coming in the ground right now, more coming on the way. At the same time, CRM saw what was going on. They broke ground for a new housing project on Bilby Road. And with our latest acquisition, taking control of 100 acres next to the Business Tech Park, we have got several developers that are eagerly awaiting the ability to go in there and start building.
All right, and mayoral hopeful Michael Brown wearing a light blue shirt, light blue tie, blue sweater vest, and a gray tweed jacket. What do you say about the tax situation, Mike?
Very different vision. I see our future as developing a completely different set of housing. I like the small amount of sort of mixed-use apartment sort of things that are going in right now. But I want to see a lot more, and I don't want to see them going at the old Woodhaven. I think that we need to develop our downtown. I think we need to redevelop our urban core. I think we need to have multi-story, mixed-use apartment and condo complexes. I think that we need to appeal to a younger demographic. I think we need to appeal to the people that would be working in drone technology and in nanotechnology. I think that there's our future tax dollars. I think we need to consider things like land value tax in a sort of cooperation with our property tax. I think that people should go out and Google that. I think it's something that with 76 square miles we could make good use of. The master plan in 2003 suggested that, and I think we need to go in that direction. And I think we do need to hit hard the existing housing stock that we do have and not be building more single-family dwellings. I don't think they're marketable. I think we need to, again, market to this younger demographic. They don't want single-family homes. They don't want yards to mow. They want the amenities that come with urban living.
All right, and Mike, we'll throw the next question out to you as a starter here and then let the others respond. What do you feel is one of your biggest accomplishments in your professional career that makes you qualified for the position of mayor in Rome?
When I taught at Andover out east, it was a prep school. It is a prep school in Andover, Massachusetts. I was a theater professor there, and I actually was in charge of a project to turn an old, aging theater that seated about 1,200 people. It was just a great big old box into a multi-use, multi-venue performing arts space for the student population, and that was I was just a kid. I was like 26 years old, and they handed me this job as a new teacher, and I was kind of just blown away by the prospect, and it was fun being thrown that much responsibility as a kid because it taught me that you can do absolutely anything. And I walked into a boardroom in Manhattan to talk to the architects and all the planners and stuff, and they're all looking at me, expecting me to have all the answers. And I realized that, when you come into a situation and you don't have all the answers, you need to depend on all of the expertise around the table. And that was the opportunity that I had to learn about cooperation and working with a group of people who really know their stuff in order to come up with a really fantastic outcome.
Thank you, Mike. To Lou Daniello, another hopeful in the race here for Rome Mayor, and your professional qualifications that you bring to bear on the job.
Well, my professional qualifications start a very long time ago. Most of my 38-year working career has been in some form of management or another. That being said, with my abilities to bring people to the table, to find funding and move things forward in a very positive way, getting all players together. A good example is my last 9 years on the school board, and last 2 as president. We have fought many battles, numerous battles. Some of those battles, I was the Lone Ranger on a lot of those things. There was an effort to close 2 very, very prominent schools in the area, one of very adjunct poverty, and one that was the #1 school for autism inclusion in probably the Northeast. We were visited by over 80 schools looking to see how we worked our autism inclusion program. There was a plan to close those 2 schools. Those 2 school closings, coupled with a consolidation of elementary schools, would have meant that there would have been 4 mega schools. No personality, no particular neighborhood, but would have cost us $72 million to have this plan take root. Instead, I was the lone voice, went out and found 5 new board members. They actually went out and closed those schools, found 5 new board members to come on board. We looked over the plans, saw that they were baloney, actually, turned that into a renovation project worth $30 million, kept 6 neighborhood schools open, and kept the integrity of those projects together. We have such a diverse population in Rome that our kids needed, the Gansevoort school population. Gansevoort School was slated for closure. The Gansevoort school population is among our poorest in the city. It is also among the most needy. But the Gansevoort school community is among the best example of a good school, a solid neighborhood school. We kept that open, and we kept it moving for the neighborhood.
Very good. That's Lou Daniello. And to you, Mayor Fusco, your biggest accomplishments professionally?
Well, professionally, for the last 40 years of my life, I've been involved in all types of construction, management, every type of activity that goes on in a municipality. When you look at what the city of Rome is, it is a property management, it is a construction company, it is a management of many people. Sometimes that's some of our biggest issues, is to deal with people and the problems that arise. But what I feel is a major accomplishment. Because of my background, we've been able to complete phase 1 of the Navigation Center, bring the people together and build a Veterans Arch that had been on the table for 10 years, put the new boat launch in, get the terminal building that had looked like God knows what for 20 years, brought that together, went out, got the funding, got the right people together, got our work crews out there, did a lot of the work ourselves. Now it's a beautiful building on the exterior. Now we're starting to work on the inside. The walking trails, project that had been sitting around for a decade. I brought the right people together, formulated a team, got the walking trail built. Our Action Park was in deplorable condition. It was dangerous. We ripped it out. Got together with several local folks that were knowledgeable in that area, got together with an organization that builds those things, went after some funding with Senator Griffo, and worked with the council, built the fun park, got it done. We don't sit around talking about things. We get things done.
All right, guys, we will continue with our Rome mayoral debate here. 3 of the 4 candidates joining us today, Michael Brown, Lou Daniello, and, of course, Mayor Fusco as well. So we will continue with some topics including solar energy, public safety, and more coming up on the Talk of the Town 100.7 FM WUTQ.